G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sean and in today's video I'm going to be giving you my full review of the Blitzwolf BW-KB1 wireless USB Type-C mechanical keyboard. This keyboard was actually sent over to me from a company that I've never heard of before called Banggood, but I'm actually really grateful that they decided to contact me. Now, if you found this video helpful, then let me know by maybe hitting the like button or leave me a comment down below. If you enjoyed this kind of content, then maybe consider subscribing. And if you want to just come and hang out and ask questions, you can catch me on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So now that it's all said and done, let's begin. Okay, so let's go through some of the key features and specifications that make this keyboard really stand out in comparison to some of the competition. Now this keyboard uses USB Type-C, so you can physically plug in a cable and connect it to any Windows or Apple-based computer. Or if you want to, you can actually go ahead and use the built-in Bluetooth 5.0, hardware to pair it with any Windows or Mac-based computer, but also any iOS or Android-based mobile phone or tablet. So it actually is a really versatile little keyboard. The keyboard itself is obviously a lot smaller, but it actually does have pretty much every key that you could possibly need. It is a 63 key mechanical keyboard that uses Gateron switches and double shot PBT keycaps, which is then completely illuminated from, I guess, bottom to top with RGB all the way through. It has its own built-in memory as well, so it will remember which devices that you've paired it with if you're using Bluetooth, or maybe which color profile or RGB effect you had the keyboard set to before you turned it off or turned off your computer. So that way when you wake it back up, all of your settings are going to come back with it. In terms of the RGB lighting, you've got 19 different modes or effects that you can cycle through, and then you've got, I guess, stages where you can bring the brightness up or brightness down, or even slow down or speed up the effects, and you can do that all using the keys with the function key on the keyboard. Now, even though that this keyboard is wireless Bluetooth with built-in batteries and things, it is rated to IPX4, which is great. So if you accidentally spill a can of Coke or some water or maybe a beer or something else, you can actually go ahead and be, I guess, confident that it is going to withstand that. And as long as you get, I guess, the liquid off quickly enough and you dry it quickly enough, you're not going to have any issues. Now for the actual dimensions of this keyboard, you've got 290 millimeters going the length, I guess 100 millimeters here going the width, and then 39 millimeters going from the base to the top of the keycap in terms of, I guess, the height. You can increase that a little bit with the included footrests that flip out, but they're the dimensions, so you can get an idea of sort of what kind of space it's going to take up on your desk. Now, speaking of space on your desk, some of the really, I guess, popular things about 63 key mechanical keyboards is that it just gives you a lot more room for your mouse. So if you're someone who plays a lot of first person shooters like me, and you're moving your mouse around, you're flicking it, you're using a lot of, I guess, desk area for your mouse, then a smaller keyboard where you're only really using WASD and a few other keys is really going to make a big difference. But some other scenarios where this keyboard can, I guess, what's the term, complement your setup would be maybe if you're in a situation where you've got a media PC and you want a small keyboard for the coffee table and you don't want something cheap and nasty to use, or maybe if you're doing some sim racing and you've got like a little cockpit set up and you don't have much space for a fully, I guess, decked out keyboard with all 103 keys or whatever, and you need to save a little bit of space. So it's not just for those of you who are using it for playing FPS games or whatever games you might be playing and you need a lot of mouse space, or you're trying to save on space, but it can actually be really handy for those of you who are running media center setups or maybe like a sim racing setup, as, I guess, space in those situations is going to come at a premium. When I got the actual keyboard out of the packaging, out of the box, I really wasn't expecting much, and in terms of what comes included, you've got an included, obviously, keycap puller, so if you want to take off those keycaps and clean them or change them with other Gateron switches, you can definitely do that. You get a USB Type-C cable, which is braided and roughly about 1.8 meters in length, which is great, but that's pretty much it. You get a tiny little user manual, which explains to you how to switch it from Bluetooth to wired and how to use the function key in conjunction with other keys on the keyboard to do different RGB effects. but that's pretty much it. So for price, I haven't actually mentioned that yet. This keyboard comes in at around about $75 in Australia, but if you sign up to Banggood's website as a new customer and you've never bought anything at all, they will actually give you a $20 coupon, which brings this keyboard down to about $55, which I think, in my opinion, is an absolute steal. The keys themselves to actually type on sound frigging amazing. I actually couldn't believe it, and coming from my Logitech G Pro X 10 keyless mechanical keyboard, this feels a million times better. So I'm just gonna shut up for a second so that way you can get an actual sound test of this keyboard and you can hear it through your headphones. So as you can probably hear from the sound of the keyboard, everything sounds really solid in construction. It doesn't actually have that clangy, plasticky kind of sound. It's hard to really describe, I guess, the sound that I'm trying to talk about, but I think you know what I mean. You don't hear the springs echoing when you're hitting the space bar. Everything sounds really dampened and just feels really, really good to type on, which for a keyboard that comes in at less than $100 and packs in all these features is honestly amazing. And I actually am being 100% genuine here where I say that this keyboard is going to be my new daily driver. I love it. My Logitech one is getting retired. I've used a bunch of different keyboards in the past. You can see on the channel all the different keyboards I've reviewed, and this one here from a company that I have never heard of before really caught me off guard, and I'm supremely impressed with just how good and how amazing the value of this keyboard is. The only small trade-offs you're really going to make is on the right side of the keyboard around the arrow up key, where you've got a small shift key to the left and the, I guess, / and question mark key on the right hand side. So on that corner of the keyboard, it does take a little bit of time to get used to that. But overall, the keyboard's really, really nice. There is a slight little bow in the keyboard, which you can see, and that does provide you with a little bit more comfort when you are typing. But then actually on the bottom, you have some really nice legs that flip out with some really solid rubber pads. So the keyboard's not gonna move anywhere when you are, I guess, typing on it. And that extra height that you get from the keyboard legs is actually going to, at least for me it did anyway, give you even more comfort. I actually preferred it with the legs up than having it flat, but that's just a personal preference. So if you are wondering whether or not to spend the money on this particular product, I think you can tell from my review how impressed I am with this product. So that being said, take the chance, buy it. It's not that expensive, and I think compared to the competition, you're going to get a lot more value and probably a better quality product than what some of the bigger brands are selling. If you like this video, then make sure to chuck it a like. If you have any comments or questions, then leave that down below. Get subscribed, and if you're looking for another video to watch, another good one to check out would be the video that I did on the Logitech G Pro X mechanical keyboard, I guess a bit of a competitor, and I'll leave a link to that up in the corner, so you can go and check that out now.